Vancouver can be one of the best high-access cities in Canada if your priority is jobs, services, and a car-light lifestyle. But the trade-off is immediate. Rent is high, competition is real, and a weak housing plan turns the city into constant financial pressure. So Vancouver can be a strong yes for the right person, and a clear no if you're trying to make it work on a fragile budget. This guide is for people searching cost of living in Vancouver, rent in Vancouver, and moving to Vancouver, and trying to decide yes or no before relocating. It's not travel content. We'll cover daily life reality, realistic monthly costs, lifestyle fit for remote workers, families, retirees, and newcomers, and then we'll end with a clean decision framework. Daily life reality. Vancouver is a set-up city. Where you live determines how the city feels. In a transit-connected neighborhood, your routine can be compact. Groceries, parks, errands, and commuting without a car. If you move farther out to lower rent, you usually pay in time, longer commutes, more transfers, more fatigue. That time cost is real, and it quietly changes quality of life. Weather is another daily life variable. Vancouver's winter is usually more wet and grey than brutally cold, but those long stretches of rain matter. If your home is poorly insulated, or you rely on electric heat, comfort drops and bills can spike. Good housing isn't only nice, it's what keeps daily life stable when the weather is working against you. Transportation is a major lever. Vancouver is one of the few big Canadian cities where many people can stay car-free if they choose the right location. A monthly transit pass can be cheaper than the full cost of owning a car once you include insurance, fuel, maintenance, and parking. But if your housing choice forces frequent ride-hailing, you lose that advantage. In Vancouver, transport cost is often the consequence of your housing decision. Cost of living. The planning ranges now the numbers. Think in ranges, not perfect averages. Vancouver has wide variation by neighborhood, building type, and lease terms. But for realistic planning, rent is the dominant line item. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment. Many people budget in the ballpark of central, highly connected areas. About $2,400 Chelsea U, $3,000 per month outside the core. About $1,800 Chelsea U, $2,500 per month. These are planning ranges, not guarantees. Your actual outcome depends on timing, building quality, and whether you can secure a stable long-term lease. The key point is simple. Vancouver punishes optimistic budgeting. If your plan only works at the very bottom of the market, it's a risky plan. Utilities plus internet utilities vary by building and heating type. A small apartment can sometimes be modest, but electric heating or poor insulation can raise winter bills. A conservative planning range for utilities in a typical one-bedroom is about $80 Chelsea U, $200 per month. Internet commonly lands around $60 Chelsea $110, depending on plan and reliability. If you work remotely, don't treat internet as optional. Treat it as infrastructure. Groceries are lifestyle dependent. If you cook most meals at home and buy mostly standard items, a realistic range for one adult is often $350 $550 per month. For a couple, $650 $1,000 is a common planning range. If you eat out frequently, costs rise fast, not because one meal is extreme, but because routines repeat. Eating out, the silent category of Vancouver, is full of convenient spending traps. Coffee runs, lunch out, delivery, and just a few dinners. If you're budgeting tightly, decide your rule in advance. Example: 1 takeout meal per week, 2 cafe purchases per week, and a monthly restaurant cap. Otherwise, eating out becomes the category that quietly breaks your budget. Healthcare plus insurance. Healthcare costs depend on status and coverage. Many newcomers choose extra coverage for predictability. Don't plan as if healthcare is zero. Plan for your actual needs. Prescriptions, dental, vision, and anything ongoing. Predictability matters more than perfection. Monthly budget examples. Realistic planning. These are not promises. These are stress test ranges. Solo, modest, car-free rent, $2,000 Chelsea, $2,700 groceries, $350, $550 utilities, $8 $200 internet, $60 Chelsea $110 transit, $110 $150 basic discretionary phone, small extras $150, C $350, a realistic monthly range, about C $2,750, Chelsea U $4,060, couple, comfortable, mostly car-free rent C $2,600, Chelsea U $3,400, groceries C $650, C $1,000, utilities C $120, C $250, internet C $70, Chelsea U $120, transit C $200, Chelsea U $300, discretionary C $300, C $700, a realistic monthly range, about C $3,940, Chelsea U $5,770, family, the risk zone. Once you add space, childcare, and routine complexity, Vancouver becomes extremely sensitive to housing and commute choices. The city can work for families with stable income and clear schooling, childcare plans, but it becomes stressful quickly if you're relying on finding a deal, or if commutes steal daily time. Lifestyle fit remote workers. Vancouver can be great if you value access, community, and a lifestyle that supports exercise and routine. The risk is that rent eats too much of your income, leaving you with less flexibility and less savings. Ask yourself, are you paying for Vancouver because you use what it offers, or are you paying premium rent while living like you're trying to hide from the city? Families. Vancouver can be a yes if you can afford stable housing and keep commutes reasonable. It's a no if housing costs force constant downsizing, long commutes, or unstable rentals. Family stress usually comes from logistics, not entertainment. Retirees. Vancouver can work if you need strong healthcare access and want walkable neighborhoods. It's often a no if your priority is calm and cost control. Many retirees prefer smaller BC cities or other provinces if savings matter more than access. Newcomers, expats. Vancouver is a common landing city because it's diverse and services are robust, but landing costs are high and competition for rentals is real. Vancouver is better for people who arrive with a plan, stable income, and enough runway to avoid rushing into bad housing. Who Vancouver is good for? People who prioritize a major job market and can pay rent with margin. People who can live car-free in a connected neighborhood. People who value access and services enough to pay a premium. WHO should avoid Vancouver. Anyone whose budget becomes fragile after paying rent. Anyone trying to maximize savings quickly. Anyone who needs a quiet, small city. Default without big pricing. Decision test. Yes. No answer these honestly. Can you afford Vancouver rent at the realistic range for 6 to 12 months without becoming financially fragile? Can you choose a neighborhood that fits your routine so transport time stays reasonable? Do you actually benefit from what Vancouver is expensive for? Jobs, access, services, or would you be happier in a smaller city? If costs rise or income changes, do you have a fallback plan? Bottom line, if you want Canadian big city access and can handle the rent reality with margin, Vancouver can be a strong yes. If rent would stretch you or savings is your top priority, Vancouver is likely a no, and a smaller Canadian city will give you a better cost to life ratio. Next video, we'll cover a smaller Canadian city and test the real question most people are making: is Vancouver worth the premium, or is a smaller city the smarter move? Daily life details that change your budget. Two people can live in Vancouver and spend completely different amounts, because daily life is shaped by neighborhood and habits. Central areas can reduce the need for a car, but rent is higher. Farther out areas can reduce rent, but you may pay more in transit time and occasional ride-hailing. A practical move is to price housing around your routine, where you work, how often you need downtown access, and whether you can truly live car-free. Safety and comfort, the non-money costs. Most relocation decisions fail because people ignore comfort costs. Noise, poor sleep, and long commutes create hidden expenses in stress and productivity. When you shortlist neighborhoods, test daytime noise, night noise, and how safe you feel walking home after dark. Other monthly costs people forget. Phone plans in Canada can be higher than many newcomers expect. So budget realistically. Add a buffer for household items, clothing, and subscriptions. Set a fixed entertainment budget so small spending doesn't become uncontrolled. One-time relocation. Costs before your first monthly budget. Expect a startup phase. Deposit, first month rent, moving costs, temporary housing while you search, and basic household supplies. The safest approach is to arrive with runway and treat the first month as scouting, not a permanent decision. What makes Vancouver worth it? Vancouver is worth the premium when you actually use what you're paying for. Job access, services, walkable routines, and the ability to stay car light. A quick yes nitrogen monoxide checklist. If you have stable income, can keep housing below a safe share of your budget, can choose a neighborhood that reduces commute stress, and you have a buffer for surprises, Vancouver is usually workable. If not, a smaller city often delivers a better cost-to-life ratio. Rental reality tip: Vancouver rentals move fast. Before you tour, have a simple checklist ready: income proof, references, and a clear maximum rent number. If a unit forces you to exceed your budget just to win the listing, walk away. Grocery control tip: if you want Vancouver to feel manageable, build a routine around one main grocery store. Cook most meals at home and treat takeout as a planned line item. Convenience spending is where budgets quietly break. Commute rule: if your one-way commute is over 45 minutes, your time cost becomes the real expense. In Vancouver, paying a bit more to save daily time can be rational. Okay,